Hi, this is Sum Ting Wong, and get your drag race fix on page 6.
Welcome back to Work Room Weekly. I'm Brian.
And I'm Jason.
And of course, that was Sum Ting Wong.
Yes!
The robbed queen of the season.
Yes, baby. We got the exclusive.
That's right. Page 6, Work Room Weekly's got the exclusive on Sum Ting Wong. That interview is at the end of the recap. We got to get into episode 6, the most bonkers Slaysian Royale episode of the season.
They keep getting crazier.
We've got tears. We've got queens threatening to quit. We have witchcraft.
Yeah.
What is going on?
I don't know, but I expect nothing less from the Slaysian Royale.
I feel like I've been hexed.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's dive into it. We're coming back from last week's the best lip sync ever. And I actually pulled a very funny quote. Suki and Brig obviously made out on stage and they asked about it. And Suki says, tongue was lacking, but saliva was there.
I like getting feedback, you know? I appreciate it. I always am trying to improve myself, so I do like that.
Yeah.
But this was following Bernie's elimination. This was our first Filipina queen to leave. Arizona was really hurt because obviously a lot of, she was really close to her, as were a lot of these other Filipina queens. And they kind of said that now they really want to see Siam and Yuha deliver. They're the two that don't have wins under their belts, that really, they said, we're at the point in the competition where we got to start looking at that score sheet, and those girls unfortunately are at the bottom.
For next week, I better slay, girl, because if I don't get a win next week, girl, this crown ain't for me, girl.
And this triggers something in Siam.
Yes, girl.
Delivers an insane monologue. This is one of the weirdest drag race moments ever.
Did you see I'm ready to win?
The entire room is like, what is going on, girl?
Yeah, she said it was, she feels like she's in a new era of herself, Siam 3.0, and she goes on this, crazed rant, gets on top of the workroom table. Venus is immediately not having it. She's like, I feel like dark energy coming from this, which at first I think everyone was laughing, and then it got very concerning real quick.
They were waiting for it to be all of a joke, and then what immediately follows is Mama Pow revealing that they're going to do Rate a Queen.
Yeah.
So the tension's already high, and now they have to all rate each other. So Siam, after this weird-ass stunt, is not going to get rated very well.
Yeah. So that was the mini challenge for this week. I mean, obviously, Mama Pow looking gorgeous. A vision in beige. Love her so much. So yeah, the girls had to go to the precinct 69 and cast their ballot by ranking the queens best to worst. I thought it was funny. It looked like they were taking the SAT. They were at the table with their little folder. They had to do it out loud in front of the other girls.
But it seems like they didn't really they filled in all of their score sheets, but out loud, maybe only certain things were revealed.
Yeah.
And it was not looking good for Siam.
No, yeah. So the winner was Venus. She was ranked number 1, which I would agree. I think everyone was saying she is the biggest competition right now. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would say so.
And Siam ranks Kiana last, and vice versa. Kiana ranks Siam last. So there's a feud going on there too.
Yeah. And then, like I said, you've got Venus, who's just not feeling Siam at all. We'll get into that later because they fully just, are at odds with each other. But after the mini challenge, Mama Pow reveals that our maxi challenge for this week is not the Snatch Game, but Snatch Election. This was fun. So instead of a game show, the girls are running for office, playing a celebrity or a public figure, and they had to make a campaign video. 20 minutes to make a video. They gave one of these other, I feel like not meaningful advantages and disadvantages. So the winner, Venus, got a minute added to her rehearsal/filming time, and then she gets to take a minute away from another queen and immediately says Siam. Immediately. They were Mama Pow was like, so who do you want? Siam.
Yeah.
Siam. Everyone's like, oh my gosh. So clearly there's a little beef.
Yeah, I mean, Venus basically reveals that he had a former friend that dabbled in witchcraft.
This was crazy.
And said, I've seen these hand motions before. I've seen this kind of spooky curse hex energy. Siam's trying to pull this and was like, I am shutting it down. I was not aware of this part of Filipino culture, but maybe there's this whole voodoo thing going on. I don't know, but it was getting a little creepy.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of like rigor happen on the US franchise of girls just like calling each other out for being catty, but like full on accusing someone of being a witch. Like we're in the full on Salem witch trials at Drag Race Philippines.
I saw Goody Proctor in
That
the woods
was
with the devil.
Crazy. That was
Siam dancing with the devil.
Yeah.
But maybe there's something there that we obviously aren't picking up on.
Yeah. But I think one of the things we also have to mention before we get into the Maxi challenge, Mama Pao actually drops off the full Rate of Queen results in the workroom before she leaves in a folder.
Glitter manila folder.
Yeah, she says you can open this if you'd like. You can keep it sealed if you want. Suki immediately goes as her and is like, we're gonna share it with the class.
Yeah.
And so I have the ranking. So obviously, like I said, Venus was 1, and then 2 was Brig, 3 and 4 was Arizona and Suki, 5 was Kiana, 6 was Yuha, and last was Siam.
And this brought tears from Kiana and Siam.
Yeah.
Like they're both feeling their feelings, and they're feeling like they're not bringing enough to stay on another week.
Yeah, Siam starts crying and Venus immediately walks away. Like literally me dealing with like any sort of like emotional turmoil in my life, just like walk away from it. But yeah, Kiana really starts to question her place in the competition, which is like so sad, and it gets even more intense as the episode plays out. And it's just like, I mean, as like the #1 Kiana stan, I'm really sad to see someone who is so talented feel like they are so undeserving of being there, and everyone else can see it. They're literally like, girl, you're Kiana, like
we're all
snap
tired
out of it.
We're all tired.
And it's interesting because like, remember how in the last episode you all was like, there's some people who don't want to be here, and I didn't really feel that way about the queens, and now we're seeing it. Now we're seeing queens who are like starting to like give up, which is really unfortunate because these girls are really talented.
Yeah, and Snatch Game or Snatch Elections is really an opportunity to show yourself, and it separates the boys from the men. I hate to say it. In the US version, Snatch Game is where we get the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, it is if not the
So let's run
challenge.
it down real quick. All right, so we've got Siam is going to do Lisa from White Lotus.
Oh my gosh, this was concerning.
I mean, disturbing, the double, triple D. It made no sense.
Yeah, I just didn't get it. Like, I understand, like, she picked a culturally relevant, person, but there was no Lisa. Lisa was not in the room.
And a Thai, Siam's from Thailand,
Yeah,
so
no.
there was a connection
100%.
there.
Like, I saw the vision, but the execution was absolutely incorrect.
Bizarre. Then Kiana did Mami Oni, which Filipino influencer.
Cute.
Venus did the Vice President of the Philippines, Inday Sara.
Yeah.
And hilarious. This was so funny. Suki did Lin May, who's the Nicki Minaj of Mexico.
Yeah.
Arizona Brandy did Lin from Las Vegas.
Hi, I'm Lynn from Las Vegas Models.
Another viral, celebrity. Brigadig did Maria Ressa, who's like a openly lesbian, Nobel laureate, intellectual. And Yuha did Anna Delvey, the scam artist.
I was concerned. I didn't know if she would be able to pull this off, and I mean, we've seen she's been so comedic on her own throughout this entire season.
Oh, hilarious.
But like, to actually have to funnel that into a challenge, I didn't know if she could execute it, and she did. I thought it was good.
Do we want to talk about our favorites?
Yeah. Oh, my favorite was Brig. This Maria Ressa, I thought it was so funny. The physical transformation, immediately when I saw her in that little wig, standing behind that podium, I immediately got it. I was in the fantasy. The writing was so smart. LGBT, looking gorgeous but tired.
Oh my
Baby,
God,
that's
this
my
was
new hinge
so
prompt. It's my new hinge prompt.
funny.
I identify as part of the LGBT community, looking gorgeous but tired. And I also just loved, there was a lot of butt and bulge in this promo video.
Yes.
So I'm always going to stand for that.
Yeah,
Loved
that
it.
was super funny. And, in Snatch Game, you don't have to know the reference. If it's funny, it's funny.
Exactly.
And as soon as Brigadig walked on, like Alyssa Edwards actually said, like, you get physical comedy.
Yeah.
Just the way you walked to the podium, the way you held your body, it was like, there's some acting chops in here.
So good. What about you? What was your fave?
My favorite, again, I've been standing Arizona Brandy from the beginning. I didn't know who Lynn from Las Vegas was. I've never seen the video, but just the aesthetic of it was very Tim and Eric. Looking at the other cameras, like it was just very 1990s B movie. I loved Lynn. I love Lynn from Las Vegas. This cracked me up. It was so funny.
It was really fun. And like I said, honorable mention, Yuha. She really delivered it.
Oh my
I thought
gosh.
Road to Fraudum, like so good.
Yeah,
so
I think the
fun.
writing was the strongest with Yuha.
Yeah.
Just it really felt like a political ad done by Anna Delvey. This could have been on SNL.
It was amazing. And then we go into our runway. Category this week is Asian mythical creature couture.
Incredible category.
I have a feeling we're going to both share the favorite top of the week. Who was your favorite top of the week?
Venus's Gnome of Feng Shui. Oh my God. This was the best runway moment. I don't know if it's like high fashion, but it was just such a great stunt. I mean, she looked like Megan 3.0. Forget Siam 3.0. I want Megan 3.0. And Venus delivered, and the judges flipped out. This was such a great optical illusion, and the face was so like compelling and funny and creepy. It was so good. I loved it.
In the words of Alyssa Edwards, over. It was completely over the minute she turned that corner. I loved the hooting and the hollering from the judges. They literally were saying we're gooped and gagged. Like,
So funny.
I love how these judges on this franchise aren't afraid to express when they're excited about something. I feel like in the
Standing
US
ovation.
franchise, you know, we try to play poker face. RuPaul doesn't really try to give that many flowers out, but I was absolutely living for the fact that they were living for this outfit.
Well, you know why? It's because notoriously RuPaul and Michelle are wearing sweatpants
Yeah, we can't
underneath
stand
that table.
up. We can't
they
stand
can't
up.
stand up.
No, we can't give a standing ovation. So yeah, I would agree. That was my fave.
There were a few missteps though.
I had a couple that I was concerned with. Siam, she was playing this drag version of the Buddha's horse. She looked like a drum major, in my opinion, and she like rounded the corner and immediately fell on the floor. I was like, "What are we like?" She wasn't like hoofing like a horse. She just collapsed. I was very confused.
But she wasn't the worst horse out there.
She wasn't. And as, like I said, #1 fan of the Kiana Club, I will concede in this moment, this was confusing. She was going for this like lion-like creature. From the waist up, it was magical. It was mythical, obsessed. Waist down, giving High School Mascot.
Oh my God. She was dragging Scooby-Doo behind her.
Oh my goodness. And they called her out on it. They were like, girl, we need to know how to edit. Like, you look gorgeous, but like...
If you want to be a centaur or a fawn type creature with like, you know, half human, half horse or something, we don't need some back legs dragging behind.
yeah. We don't need to carry it around in the trunk. I was
Yeah, it was such a disconnect because her face was incredible.
I know.
And we love Kiana, and we want Kiana in the top 3. We do.
And I think, getting those critiques just further pushed her down that like self-deprecating hole, because we got our top 3 for this episode. It wasn't a top 2, it was a top 3.
Surprise.
So we had Venus, Bring It In, and Yuha, which was like a great, I think, trio to see. And then our bottom 2 was Siam and Kiana. And, she goes back to the workroom before deliberations and just immediately loses it.
I want to go home.
Like you said, threatening to leave the competition, walk out.
Dare I say Siam's curse worked? Like,
I shouldn't be laughing. I shouldn't be laughing.
But Kiana should not have cracked.
No.
She's saying she's going to quit the show. She actually goes backstage, and we see a shot with the producers. This was like crazy TV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Siam put a spell on this group, and they all got like in their heads.
Yeah.
They got shook.
Yeah. It was really disheartening to see, and I was like, I'm glad that like she picked herself up and like didn't, walk out in that moment. I thought it was also funny how Siam's also in the bottom, and she of course bursts into random song right after this panic attack that
and
Kiana has.
Venus says, don't chant.
Yeah.
That's not singing, you are chanting.
Yeah. She was like,
Diablo.
Yeah, was not having it. And I love how they also did not hide that Venus picked her lipstick. They were like, we all know who she is, wanting to see walk out that door.
So we have a 3-person lip sync.
Yep.
And all eyes are on Yuha.
Yeah.
Like, I am glued. And that moment where she pulls out the lyrics for the rap rap verse was so funny.
And the moment when the rap lyrics became too much for her, so then she just starts like stimulating oral sex, because she was like, I have the literal lyrics in front of me, but I can't do it, so I'm just gonna do whatever. She was full on giving Yuha craziness, which like
I love it.
I'm so glad. Like I said, we've seen bits and pieces of this throughout the season, but like give her a stage and let her like put all that energy out in one place. She delivered. She absolutely did.
She didn't just deliver. She won this
She
week.
won. Thank
Finally,
goodness.
our American queen
our
with
US
Alyssa there
rep.
too. It's like we've got Alyssa.
I know.
We've got Yuha. This felt like a real,
Such
patriotic
a redemption.
moment.
Such a redemption for the U.S., a redemption for the international girls. But that meant that we had to say goodbye to a girl.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Yuha revealed that she picked Siam's lipstick,
Yeah.
which makes sense. I mean, I would be throwing this table upside down if Kiana was leaving, not on her own regard. It's not her time to go. It's not Kiana's time to go. I understand she is like hitting a point, but like I have faith that she is around these girls that are good enough to lift her up and to, boost that confidence in her, because we still have more to see from her. We still do.
And I've loved Siam's weird energy, chaotic energy from the beginning, but Lisa with humongous TLC size breasts. I was like, I just don't think the pieces were all coming together. I think she maybe put a spell on herself.
Yeah. So unfortunately, another international queen bites the dust. We've got 2 girls left. We've got Yuha and we've got Suki. The girls are holding the fort down for us. But there is one international queen that has left already, but has still left marks on our heart.
All the way from the UK, we spoke to Sum Ting Wong, our favorite. We were so bummed to see them go home.
Yeah, you guys, this
The
obviously
comedy
she's
queen of the season.
Yeah, she's obviously not on the show anymore, but we were so in love with her that we said, we need to talk to this girl. We need to have her on the show. So we are so happy that, don't leave just yet, because we have an exclusive interview with Sum. Can't wait for you guys to see it. Tune into that, and then we'll see you back here next week for another episode of Work Room Weekly. We are here with the one, with the only, needs no introduction actually, but I'm going to give one anyway because she's so iconic, Sum Ting Wong! Yes!
Welcome to Work Room Weekly.
Hello, welcoming me in. Hello, Jason. Hello, Brian.
We're loving your boy drag right now. You've got the beard. You've got the gamer Twitch setup.
I'm in disguise. This is my cave that I live in. When I'm not a woman, I will be on Discord, and I will be playing Minecraft. So yeah, is that Rivals, anything like that? Any game that's like multiplayer at the minute, I'm just like absolutely on. So yeah, this is me. This is a week.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. For someone whose job is impersonating a lady, it's quite useful, I guess, to be able to have this. I should have done a Danny Beard. I should have done beard.
No,
I should have
it's
done beard
good.
with drag.
We love this. This is giving a very specific era, and we love it.
I know. You were, of course, the robbed queen of Slaysian Royale. We've been obsessed with you the first 2 episodes, and we were so sad to see you go. But I have to say, you did leave us with this epic exit line. No hard feelings, only hard.
I can't believe that they didn't they didn't say go again. They didn't say go again because it was like it. I didn't like. So when I was on Drag Race the first time in the UK, I had my exit lines worked out. I had all of that. But this time around, I was like, no, I'm not going to think about anything like that. Like this is mine. I'm going to go in. I have my vision. I know what I'm going to do. I didn't realize that people thought I'd be such good TV.
Like the best.
Thank you. I've been watching loads of baddies, so
Yes.
I think
She was ready to stir it up.
Baddie, shout out. I've been watching Baddies, Jocelyn's Cabaret. I'm all on that Zeus network. But we're talking about WoW. But no, I didn't expect to have so many people talking about me online.
You were so really in the moment, yeah. And it was 6 years between UK season 1 and Slaysian Royale. So what changed between those, between those 2 moments for you?
I think, for me personally, when I went on the first time, I didn't know about my neurodivergencies, didn't know about ADHD, didn't know about autism, didn't know about any of those. So when I went on and I was in a panicked, as you get to the workroom, it is overwhelming. And a lot of the people do from our psych test. I don't want to talk about this. From our we know we get a psych test, and basically the best information that the psychs and the production give us, they're like, imagine, specifically in the UK, they were like, imagine you're back in school. That's kind of like the pressure environment that you get put into, and you kind of revert back to that version of yourself. So at school, I was very don't rustle any feathers. My safe space is non-confrontation. So for me personally, on season 1, whenever there was any conflict or I felt like my point wasn't being made, I stay quite quiet, I stay quite behind, I just accept everything. But between TV then and TV now, I feel like I'm actually myself, even in that special situation. So when people watch Slaysian, they're all just like, oh, there she is. I know her from the dressing room. She's she's a funny but the first time around when I got eliminated, I called Tia because she's my best friend. She's like basically helped me get
Tia Coffee.
Yeah, Coffee. Yeah, helped me get a lot of my season 1 runway together actually, and a lot of stuff for Slaysian. I called her on the phone and I went, "Oh, Tia, apparently I'm going to be one of the most loved people on the season." And she's paused and she went, "You." Like that, because she knows what.
Shady.
Because obviously now, Shady has that boots. But now because we've seen Slaysian, we know what I'm like when my friends confront me, when I'm in a situation with people I'm comfortable with, and it's just the real me. And I think a lot of people saw that on TV because a lot of people care about how they're presented, how they're seen, what the fans will think, what it does for their image. But for me, I just went on because it's Drag Race. And I just wanted to go on again to really showcase myself on the runway and outside of the runway. And I think I finally got that through.
100%. And obviously you did it on a season that is so revolutionary and, you know, is just so the cultural impact that Slaysian Royale has had is immense. And the fact that you are getting to represent not only the UK, but British Asian queens, like what did that mean for you getting to take that responsibility on?
So I've always had it's not really an issue. I've always had I don't know what the word is. It's specifically like a conflicting sense of self, especially being in the UK, born in the UK, parents from the Vietnam War, came over as refugees. So obviously I'm a child of refugees in the UK, and I was the only person of color in my primary school.
Wow.
The only person of color. And that must sound so weird, right? But obviously I'm 38 now. So back then Chinese people were a bit like special and odd. So I was the only only brown person in a school full of white people. And I just had to deal with kind of growing up with a different like culture at home, a different culture in school, a different culture in public. And that's always been a thing with me. And that's always been a thing kind of with my drag as well. And going to Slaysian, I've always been, in the UK, I've always been seen as not white enough. I rustle too many feathers. I really care about heritage. I care about equal rights for all people, equal rights for everyone. So it was from a position where I was not white enough to then going to something like Slaysian, when I then wasn't Asian enough. It was such a strange feeling for me, but I've learned to love my Asian self through my drag, and I've been able to explore different things of it. And it was so nice to be in the Philippines with all these different Asian queens, because not everyone's Chinese, okay? Well, not everyone's Chinese. So seeing all of these different cultures all in one, all encompassed under one umbrella name, which is just Asian, was just fantastic. And then I realized while I was there, I was just very much a male Gemma Collins. So,
and that's why we love you.
Yeah, I'm a little skinnier than her, but it's fine.
So clearly you've watched your episodes. Are you still keeping up with the season? And
I am keeping up with the season.
Do you have a favorite? Do you have, or who are you rooting for?
Oh, can I say? No, I have been a long-time fan of Brigading. Like, I was a fan of hers before she was in Drag Race. I've been a long-time fan of Brigading and a long-time fan of Suki Doll. So they're my two girls. So when they were put together for the makeover challenge, I was like, oh, come on. We also have like a group chat, as you always do with all of these seasons. We do get messages back from the Filipino girls, but obviously they do have to translate into English and then write their comments. So we do get messages from Bernie. She's trying very hard. I thought her English was fantastic, actually. the amount of time that I spent with her. But no, I'm really rooting for Suki. She was like the mother that we all needed when we were all away from home.
Yeah, no, 100%. And do you feel like, since getting to watch the episodes that you were on, do you feel like your journey was represented correctly? Was there anything that like you maybe want to have shared if you would have stayed longer on the show?
I don't think my style of drag specifically dictates itself to something specifically like a Filipino version of Drag Race. There's a lot of character in the things that I do. And obviously taking things across to the Philippines is very difficult, especially if you've only got a couple of suitcases.
We were talking about this with the tech challenge, the runway prompt, the high tech runway prompt. I mean, I was nervous for all the queens that week.
Girl, let's talk about it.
No, I need a lawyer present before I can talk. But no, the runway prompt I think was the toughest one. I loved my outfit for that. I thought it was so camp. It was so camp. I was just like, I have these wagging, like, do you know, like pups, like the gay term for pups, you know, like the pups.
Oh yeah.
They're kind of that whole like kink scene. So we have a friend of ours who is a designer in the UK called Fetish Daddy Gear, or Fetish Daddy London, I think it is. And he had a load of like pup tails that he had for one of Tia's outfits that she wanted to make like waving arms, like an octopus. But I was like, they move. They move. I only have like a few weeks to get all this together. That is a moving component. Let's just work an outfit around that. So I have these like stupid hands that move like this, and obviously like on top of my head. And people were like, "Oh, were they your hands?" And I was like, "No, they were the robotic ones." So like that was me holding myself to make you not know which hands are which, and then these like, robot arms just go like. I love that outfit. I think I've got it right here. It's such a nice catsuit, and I was so lucky that the mechanism still worked. Temu Classics. No, the mechanisms still worked.
Temu Classic.
After being in a plane. Apparently, like I always thought batteries exploded in planes. So there's me with like. As soon as I got back to the hotel, I was like putting it all together, like, please let this like work. And then I see my suitcases start to like come alive like this. I was like, yes, yeah.
I know Yuha wasn't so lucky that week.
No, she was not, mama. My favorite interaction of that was, I can talk about this because it's not like background production. Yuha goes up to Ivory and goes, Ivory, do you have any batteries? And Ivory's like, yeah, of course, because obviously hers are motorized and moving, and because we thought she was gonna make something like a motor, like something that moves. And she was like, okay, cool. And we're like, oh, so where's the rest of it? And she was like, oh no, I'm gonna put these in my mouth. And we were like, Yuha, have you? This is a very odd question, but have you never put batteries in your mouth or licked the end of a battery? And she was like, no, girl. And we were like, girl, it'll shock you. And she was like, no, because she wanted to borrow one of Ivory's like massive batteries that would actually like just pour. Just imagine, instead of the tiny batteries that give you a little like zap, she would have put this like gigantic like motor battery in her mouth and just like. Yeah.
That explains a lot. Obviously, you connected with Yuhan and you're on the group chat with the international queens.
Yeah.
Are there any queens that you feuded with or beefed with that you didn't really connect with as much that you want to dish about?
Oh, didn't connect with so much. I would say the only queens that we didn't connect so much with are the Filipino queens. Only because it's just the language barrier. Like everyone's so nice and so lovely because we got time to like hang out in the hotel. We could like eat together. We spent like pretty much the entire time together. So it was such a shame because they try really hard, but unless you're bilingual in English, you can't really switch, because I speak Vietnamese as well. So in my mind, I can just go into Vietnamese mode, and then everything I think and I speak will be Vietnamese. But with the Filipino girls speaking English, because they haven't grown up talking English, they would then have to think about what they were saying in Filipino, translate it to English, and then shoot that out as a message. So it was a lot slower to connect with them. But yeah, that was the only shame, because we couldn't really connect only because of the language barrier.
Well, definitely. We also want to talk about what you've been up to since being on the show. Congrats on your new EP, Sad Boy Disco. It's giving Troye Sivan. It's giving Sufjan Stevens, dare I say. Are those musical influences of yours? Who are your musical influences?
I've always done music. So music's always been a thing that I wanted to do. And this is the first time I put together my EP of not, because normally you would go to a producer, you get them to produce a track, and you go like, I want to sound like this, I want to sound like this. But this one I've had complete full creative control. Produced it, most of it, I think 70% of it from like start to finish. Me sat on my laptop, sounds, beats, everything all together, microphone, and it's been so nice because I've been working on it since my original season of Drag Race. And then finally I thought, oh, here's a fantastic opportunity to release it, because like a lot of the things, a lot of times with making music, you can just sit on it forever. A lot of the producers, I hated working with them because they'd be like, okay, that's it, we've worked a week on this, and then that's all we're getting, we're going to release it now. But in the other side of things, if you're making your own music, you will never release it because you never think it's good enough. So I thought it was a perfect opportunity on my elimination to then be, okay, line in the sand, we're going to release what I've made, and then we're going to work on more, and we're going to keep working on more. And then, because if you don't, because like I realized when I've been hitting the gym. Hi, look at my biceps. So like, I realized that even with the gym, I'll take selfies, I'll put them in the mirror, I'll put them on Instagram as like, kind of like a progress thing. And I'm like, if I would only wait until my body was perfect to take a picture, I would never take a picture because my body would then never be perfect enough. And the same way with the music, I was like, if I just sit on this, I will never release it unless I release it now. So yeah, I'm glad. My musical influences, I was like an emo kid. I like Sufjan Stevens, Damien Rice, dare I say it, like really old school, like Snow Patrol, kind of like My Chemical Romance, all the 1988 born millennial music that you could possibly want, just rehashed.
And it was perfect timing because we actually heard your voice on Slaysian Royale as well.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you got to do the girl group challenge because, like I said,
I was so excited.
Yeah, like you were getting drawn comparisons to Beyonce. Like you were clearly like
and Jay-Z because I'm very large. So.
Yeah. You are a leading lady naturally, which is so exciting, you know. And I'm glad that I think it felt like a perfect segue, you know, for you to be able to then introduce your own music. And it's good to know that there is still more on the way.
You only get like 2 lines in a song, and it goes so fast, like so fast, and you're just like, but I want to do more.
Do you have a favorite lyric from your new EP? You know, I pulled one that I thought was spicy. You were nothing but a toy.
Oh yeah, funnily enough, a lot of the songs are all written about situationships. I'm very Adele in this, yeah. So like there's one called there's the X. There's one called no, it might have been the X. I literally sent him a message and I was like, hey, for the artwork, because I released it as a single beforehand, and I was like, hey, for the artwork, I found a picture of us that looks really nice and scratch your eyes out. Are you okay with me like putting that? We're friends. We are good friends. And I was like, are you okay with putting that out? And he was like, yeah. Slay, go for it.
We love the support. Well, obviously, like we said, gone too soon without a doubt on Slaysian Royale. There, have been talks about if there ever was a UK All-Stars, would you ever do it? Would you return back to Drag Race?
You see, people ask me this question, and it was always a yes to whatever franchise. But now I have some caveats. I have I'm like, this is my rider now. My rider it has to be in England, okay? So if they do a full UK All Stars, I will absolutely say yes.